When it comes to judging the success of a business, what you most often hear talked about is its size, how much revenue it has. And when it comes to improving the performance of a business, this is usually synonymous with increasing its revenue. But what about its profits? If you just chase revenue, do profits naturally follow? Conventional wisdom would suggest that the answer is yes, and that at greater scale, your profit margin will actually improve, causing profits to grow even faster than revenue. But does this conventional wisdom always hold true in practice? Can you just chase revenue and expect profit to take care of itself? Should you ever knowingly sacrifice profit margin in order to grow revenue? And if there are times when you should, how would you know when to stop? Let's take a hypothetical example to see where you could end up. Imagine we were running a $100 million manufacturing company with 30 million of fixed costs and 60 million of variable, giving us a profit of 10 million and an operating profit margin of 10%. Now we want to grow our business and have developed a plan to double its revenue. In this depiction, we have revenue on the horizontal axis, operating margin on the vertical, and by multiplying the two, you get operating profit, which is represented by the size of the bubble. The blue line is the constant profit curve for our starting point. It shows all combinations of revenue and profit margin that would produce the 10 million of profit we have today. In the successful version of this plan, our fixed costs and gross margin remain the same. So variable costs grow, but only in proportion to revenue. And where we wind up, we have 200 million of revenue with 50 million of operating profit and a 25% operating profit margin. So in doubling our revenue, we've actually increased our profits 5-fold. This is the conventional wisdom good news story. But markets are a fickle thing. So let's imagine that some of our customers who are now buying more of our products want a volume discount, and that in order to drive this growth, we need to make some investments in additional fixed costs, and so they creep up as well. Now we're down into this zone of sacrificing margin for revenue. If we sacrifice enough margin by accepting less profitable business and adding fixed cost to serve that business, we could wind up down in this zone where our operating margin's actually falling as we grow, making our business increasingly fragile to upsets. For an upset to occur, like a downturn in demand or a supplier going out of business, we could wind up in this zone, inside the constant profit curve for our starting point, where even though we've doubled our revenue, our operating profit is less than when we started. So unequivocally a worse place to be in. But that's all hypothetical. So let's explore these questions with some real data. Let's take a look at one of the most iconic and arguably well-run companies over the last 20 years, Apple. Here's a depiction of Apple's performance from 2000 to 2019, set up the same way as our hypothetical case, with revenue on the horizontal axis, operating profit margin on the vertical, and then operating profit itself, indicated by the size of the bubble. You'll notice two distinct time periods, each with its own clear trend. From 2001 through 2009, coming out of the dot-com crash, both revenue and profit margin increased dramatically every year, just like our conventional wisdom good news story. Though from 2011 through 2019, you see operating margins steadily declining as revenue increases. In fact, absolute profit peaks in 2015 and is lower in each of the subsequent 4 years, despite having an additional 33 billion in revenue by 2019. Now, it would be hard to argue that Apple isn't still achieving remarkable success. Even with the decline in operating margin since 2011, its 2019 operating margin of 25% is incredibly high for a consumer electronics company, and certainly higher than its direct competitors. But it's also interesting to note that even a company such as Apple is not able to simply grow revenue and expect profits to follow suit. Hopefully you've enjoyed this pondering of revenue versus profit. If you're a complex manufacturer or distributor and you're interested in gaining a deeper understanding of which of your products and customers are producing your company's profits and which aren't, check out my video on the Profit Finder approach. I've included a link to it in the comments below. And in the meantime, I wish you all the best with the success of your business.